and we're constantly looking for new and interesting spoken word to add to the show. And someone that makes me laugh out loud on a daily basis via Facebook is our next guest. I started reading his blog, and it looked to me as if it would really work on the radio, and it does. So please welcome one of the latest members for Team Reading Room with the musings of a muddled mind. It's Jamie McKay.
Hello. Yeah. So anyway, the other day, I think it was a Tuesday, I was asked to write one of those day in the life of articles, and I was struggling to think what I'd been doing all day. So I did the obvious thing. I didn't ask my girlfriend or consult my diary. I thought I'd check the internet history on my phone. Sort of like the film The Usual Suspects if it had been directed by a sheep with no money. And magically, here for those listening at home is my internet history list at home. And I'll go through it and try and piece together my day. So, starting from the bottom up, here's a typical day in my life. The first two are quite easy to explain. I heard that the singer Levin Helm had died, and whilst watching old videos of his band, I'd seen a video and found out it was by a singer called Liana Las Haves. All making perfect sense so far, perfectly normal, and certainly not worth reading out loud in front of a group of people live on the radio whilst being filmed. Now, the next one was where it starts to get tricky. Text from dog. What would make me Google those words at the same time in a row? Now, I haven't got a dog, and I don't know any dogs that have got my number. Well, there was one, but it is within the realms of possibility that I had a text from a dog. So after consulting Google for advice, the obvious and only conclusion I could come to is this. The dog was watching the Hairy Biker's Vacation and was particularly impressed by a Spanish scone recipe. Now, he didn't have a chance to catch the recipe, so he thought he would text me. Now, if he's got an iPhone, he could do it with his paw. I have looked into it. It is possible. Anyway, so after about an hour, me and the dog, we'd made a huge batch of scones. We went by the name of the Furry Bakers then as well. But we had too many scones to eat. We couldn't eat them all. This would be ridiculous. It would make the story completely unbelievable. So what we did was, we had a stall at our St. George's Day parade that just happened to be outside my kitchen window. With a Union Jack, chef hat-wearing dog, front of house, while I counted the money. A sort of a cross between The Apprentice, Twin Peaks, and Sesame Street. After this, it appears that the dog, or Kevin as I called him, borrowed my phone. As I'm sure you all know now, texting with a paw is possible, but not without its problems. Particularly after a day of flogging scones, your paw is slightly sticky and the phone could have a covering flower on the screen. Kevin thought he was texting. It's so obvious now, I can't believe I'd struggled to retrace my steps up to now. So obviously, Snow Patrol, yes, obviously translates as no petrol yet. Did I mention that Kevin was a talking dog? I don't think I did. He did mention his car was running on fumes, what with all the baking and selling. And the last one, well, it all makes sense now. Waterhorse movie. That explains why, on that night at 8 o'clock, I was sat next to a talking dog called Kevin, covered in flour and jam, watching a film called Waterhorse by mistake because he couldn't type Warhorse on my phone with his paw. And thanks to the power of show business, Kevin the talking... Oh, hang on a sec, sorry. Very embarrassing. Message from... Oh, it's from Kevin. Sorry, stuck in traffic, will probably be late, soz lol. Sort of ruined the ending. Oh well, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.